Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. If you're a retro game collector, you might want to pay attention to this video. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, if you've ever used batteries before, you know they explode. If you've ever had to change batteries in something like an old TV remote, sometimes the batteries in there have seen better days and they're not in the best shape, and you get that familiar battery acid smell. Batteries definitely don't last forever, and when they finally decide to kick the bucket, sometimes the device they're left in, well, they destroy it. The battery acid slowly eats away at that device. Now, if you're a retro gamer, you probably already know this. If you have something that takes batteries, you don't store it with the batteries in it, whether it's something like a Wiimote or something like a Game Boy, because the next time you go to use it, it could look like this. In addition to easily accessible and removable batteries, sometimes batteries are a little bit harder to get at and not necessarily made to be removed. For example, this save battery on an SNES cartridge. This battery has definitely seen better days, and when it decided to explode, it took out the entire PCB. SNES games aren't the only games out there that use batteries to save the game. There are a ton of different games out there. You might have a few in your collection. So if you have a few games in your collection that use batteries and you've never changed them before, or you've never checked them before, maybe now's a good time to check on them and see how they're doing, and maybe even replace them. If you want me to do a video on how to replace these batteries, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you're watching this video and you're like, hey, I don't have games that are 25 or 30 years old, I don't really have to worry about the batteries just yet. Well, that might not be the case either. For example, if you have a PSP, you might want to take a look at it here, because the batteries have been swelling and ruining the systems. A lot of people have been reporting that their PSP batteries are now no good. That last Reddit post was from 2 years ago. Here's another one from a year ago. Here's another swollen PSP battery. Here's a swollen battery for a Game Boy Advance SP. Here's someone's PSP from less than a year ago, and you can see what the swollen battery is doing to the system. Even Nintendo 3DSs are victims of swollen batteries. Here's a Wii U gamepad that looks like it's going to burst. You might think I'm joking here, but I'm really not. Battery swelling is a pretty big problem, and it can destroy your device. And even newer systems have batteries in them. The Nintendo Switch will probably run into problems in 5 to 10, 15 years, considering it does use an internal lithium-ion battery. So my advice to anyone right now who's a retro collector, double check the batteries of your games. Make sure they're not leaking, make sure they're healthy. If they need to be replaced, replace them. And if you have a handheld system with a built-in battery like a VITA or a PSP or a 3DS or a Game Boy Advance SP, I could keep going on like this. Just make sure if you're storing it for a long period of time, I would actually recommend to remove the battery altogether. And this prevents the battery from swelling and destroying your system. In worst case scenario that way, if the battery swells while it's taken out of your system, all you have to do is just buy a new battery, which is a heck of a lot cheaper than replacing the system. And for systems where the battery isn't really accessible or easily replaced, we'll just have to see what happens in the future. But anyways, that is all I've got for today. Just a quick PSA to retro collectors out there to remind you to monitor your collection. There's no need to lose an expensive piece in your collection just because a battery leaked all over it. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever had an issue with batteries leaking on your stuff, or if you just don't care at all because you use ROMs and emulation and don't really have to worry about it. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.